the ever-important game of rock, paper, scissors. We'll get into how you can win your own playset here shortly. But in the meantime, welcome back, guys, to round 2 coverage. Tonight's standard FNM from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans. I'm currently by myself here in the broom closet, but we'll be joined shortly by whoever finishes first. Let's talk about the round 2 matchup we've got for you. We've got 2 junk decks for you, but 2 very different strategies. On the left, we've got Mitch Estep. He's played junk in the past. He's played more of a mid-range deck previously. And this deck still has some mid-range elements, but it also has some aggressive creatures. He's playing Strangleroot Geist. He's playing Wolfear Avenger to go along with his removal and a high end of Obsidat and Thragtusk, I believe. And Billy Maynor is playing, I said it was junk. It might have, might be 4-color life gain. So basically he's playing the Guild Mage Exquisite Blood combo, but he told me before the round that he could not find the Exquisite Bloods he needs before the tournament, so he doesn't have that combo in his deck because he just couldn't find them. But he's still playing a lot of value life gain cards, Rock's Faithbender being the most notable one. We see a High Priest of Penance against from Mitch. It's a card that when this set came out, I was very surprised. Didn't see more play, if only because it's one of the better walls you could have in Magic, but just not as lucrative in the control decks as, say, an Azorius Charm or, excuse me, Lingering Souls. So Billy passing back with just his Elixir of Immortality in play. Let's see. High Priest Beatdown has commenced. Billy adding to his board with a Chromatic Lantern, which is pretty crucial, it appears, in his deck because he does have some pretty greedy mana requirements. Mitch is going to follow up with a Garrick Relentless, pop out a Wolf token, and then serving again with the 20-turn clock that is High Priest of Penance. As I realize I forgot to start the round timer, because I am awesome. So Billy playing his Overgrown Tomb tapped here. Let's see what he's going to serve up. Oh, he's debating whether or not he wants to shock himself with that land or not. The chat pointing out that there was a pretty interesting action with the Garrick and the High Priest. You can basically target it, flip your Garrick, and Vindicate. Seems like a pretty good play. But Mitch instead choosing to leave it back. And we do see the Viscopa Guild Mage and a Kingpin's Pet is followed up. Like I said, Billy's deck is basically a Rock's Faithbender deck. He does have that combo. Well, he would have liked to have that combo in his deck, but he's basically just playing the a lot of incremental life gain cards that work very well with a Faithbender on board. So there we see a Township from Mitch. Just going to accelerate this clock a fair amount. It's got an active Garrett the Relentless on 3, High Priest of Penance, and a Wolf token. And wearing Gorilla's t-shirt. Not sure how that will affect the matchup. So he's going to use the Garrick to shoot down the Kingpin's Pet. Go ahead and flip him. And then follow up with Obsidat. So this one's getting out of control pretty quickly for Billy. He's looking desperately for a Faithbender here. Which a Faithbender and a 6 land would gain him 10 life. that opposite is going to be very tough for his deck to deal with. And he's going to activate his Guild Mage and go ahead and have a 10-point life swing here as he gains 5 and drops Mitch down, but it's going to be difficult to gain the incremental advantage against an Obsidat, which is just going to slowly but surely chew him away. Of course, the chat's giving Billy a hard time here for playing cards that are not for playing a deck that we haven't seen in the top 8 of a Star City event, but like I say, each and every week, there'll be plenty of net decks to be seen at later points in the round, or later rounds in the tournament, but we do like to highlight some of the homebrews if we can. So O-Ring takes out the Guild Mage, likely puts Billy away in this one, serving in with his Obsidat, and Wolf Token drops him all the way down to 6, makes another Wolf Token with Garrick. This one's basically all over but the shouting. So I see a Faith Mender in his hand, but it might be a little bit too late. And there, in fact, is the Faith Mender. So it's going to add another Guild Mage to his board. Yeah. So it's a pretty good little combo there. Once Billy untaps here, he can do some shenanigans here with the Guild Mage activation and the Faith Mender. But the question is whether or not he's going to get that opportunity, as Mitch can simply just Obsidat him out if he wants to. So Mitch serving in with the team here. He's going to have to chump the Obsidat. And he can take 1, gain 2, up to 6, so no. The net is one game, but he does lose his Guild Mage. Mitch going to sack his Wolf Token, go ahead and tutor with his Garrick, and get, of course, a Thragtusk, because we almost had an entire game without a Thragtusk making an appearance, and that, of course, would be against state law. So there he is. Billy Hellbent, drawing off the top of his deck. No, he's not. He's got a grip full of cards. He draws Tristani, I believe. It's a Deadeye Navigator. That's a pretty saucy one. There is Tristani. The chat mentioning that yeah, Mitch did forget to phase out his Obsidat. It looks like it's not going to come back to bite him, but he did just miss it. So there's two Billy could have effectively been at 3 life here, but such is not the case. Mitch getting pretty aggressive with his Garrick here. Sacking his beasts, or sacking his wolf token, ahead of combat even, to go find some business. Usually this is a play that suggests he has another Garrick in his hand, but either way, I think I might have attacked there. And he gets a wolf here, Silverheart, which he's going to cast, pairing with what? With Ozzadat? You might pair that with the priest, I would think. Serving one with both his 5/5s. So Billy's going to have to chump both of these out. Going to have to trade his board. He'll go up to 7 in the aftermath off of the Rock's Faithmender, but then he will draw his card and quickly shuffle up for game 2. Oh my goodness. He's playing a Tesa. I mean, you can watch other streams and get Pro Tour level deck analysis and card suggestions. Or you can watch our stream, the only stream in existence, which we're going to see a board state of Viscope Guildmage and Tesa on board. So, Mitch struggling mightily to close this game out. Seems like this game should have been over a long time ago, but serving in with his giant creatures, that should be enough. And that finally, some would say, put us out of our misery on that one. As Mitch takes game 1 here, I'm going to go ahead and look up, take a look at Rock's Faithmender and see if it doubles everybody's life. I don't know if it's both players or just... no, it's just the player who controls it, so... Chat was worried about that, but turns out these guys were playing the card correctly. So there's first for a stream. But this definitely isn't a first. If you watch the beginning of both of our feature matches tonight, you'll see our players starting their game the only way that you should, with a delightful game of rock, paper, scissors featuring these novelty cards from the Parody Unglued set. If you'd like to win your own play set, you are in luck. As we speak, I'm at our Facebook page, the stream's Facebook page, I should say, at facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic. Or if you just go to ZachSellsMagic.com, it will redirect you there. And look for the post I just made saying something to the effect of it's giveaway time. We're giving away a playset of rock, paper, scissors cards. You got 3 ways to enter on Facebook. You like, comment, and share that message on your own timeline. Each of those is a different way to enter. And as long as you like the page itself, you will be eligible to win next week's drawing. It also shows up in my Twitter feed, at ZachSellsMagic on Twitter. And just follow me on there and retweet that message. So 4 separate ways. You can be just like Kyle Baker, who was the first person to retweet this week, or first person to comment on it and like it. So he's early running. We got Jared Laverick Stoven. This is the fun sub game we can play where I just listen to everybody, just list everybody's names who participates. But those cards are fun, and everybody wants to win a playset of them. I've given away, I think at this point, close to 50 playsets of them since we started the stream back in August. So thanks to Steve Robertson for also liking and participating. But it's one of the few ways that we can give back to you guys for supporting the stream. And then for those of you who signed up for last week's drawing, remember we'll be doing that drawing tomorrow offline. Just look on our Facebook page and Twitter feed to see if you won. Moby Lindsay. I'm just going to shout out people's names. So these guys have drawn their opening 7. We'll move into game 2 here in this battle of the 4-color life gain deck against the Midrange deck of Mitch Estep. We'll see if Billy can put together his master plan this time. So depending upon what your strategy is in the chat, you can either have a lot of fun watching this by making fun of card selection, or you can have a lot of fun watching it by actually watching the magic. So there we see a, man, I don't know what that thing is called, Cathedral Sanctifier. It gains 3 life. That's why it's relevant in this deck. It's actually not a bad card. A lot of the control decks were playing those in the sideboard back when Mono Red was a lot bigger. But in this deck it serves multiple purposes, as with the Guild Mage it is a lightning bolt as well. Well, Billy is all Sanctifiers all the time here. Going to go up to 26 and commence beatdown with his 1/1s. As the Facebook likes and follows have stopped for a second, so we'll go ahead and cross this out. And there's the Drag Mangler out of Mitch. Like I said, he's changed his build slightly to be a little bit more aggressive as opposed to the normal control-ish. It's a good-looking foil planes from Billy. Billy, a connoisseur of foil basic lands. He has one of my favorite ones, the Invasion John Avon one. You were 26. Was that the question? Were you trying to figure out how much life you started at? You were 26. So, after a quick life total check, we've got 2 Cathedral Sanctifiers versus a Drag Mangler. Mitch going to tap out for Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. Go and make himself a vampire. He's going to serve in with his Drag Mangler. He's going to get chumped out by one of the Sanctifiers. So at some point, Billy's going to need to do something proactive. He has another land and a Chromatic Lantern. That's not the most aggressive thing to play here. So he's just going to sandbag that land, and he's going to hold another card that I do not know what it is. Five mana for a Thrag Tusk. Gonna make an emblem here. Looks like we are making an emblem. So they're gonna pound in here for 6 with his Drag Mangler and his 2/1 life linking vampire. And rather than trade, we're going to chump out the Drag Mangler. Billy does have 4 lands and a lantern though, so watch the heck out. There's a swamp, another good looking swamp. There's Tristani. Tristani does block a lot of things. It will effectively neutralize that Drag Mangler unless Mitch wants to sack his Soren to double Emblem. Can potentially help him gain enough life so that he can dig out to find a Guild Mage or a Faith Mender and try to claw back in this game. But as it stands, not looking that great. Mitch is willing to double Emblem here. So he's going to serve in for 7 with the Thragtusk, 5 with the Drag Mangler, and 3 lifelinking damage with the Vampire token. Pre-combat, we are casting another sword, making another emblem. This is just brutal. So all emblems all the time for Mitch. So he now has 8, 6, 4, so 18 power dudes on board. So just serving in with the ones that Billy cannot trade with. And to Billy realizing he takes a lot more life than... I think Billy doesn't really miss the emblems here. Yeah. So this is another one that seems to be over, as Mitch already has 18 power on board. There's a Thragtusk. You thought he didn't have him in his deck, but he did. Just was not drawing them. So there's a Garrick. Garrick going to kill the, you're going to trade it with the Thragtusk? Come in! Come in! Hey, Nick Reed. You're 0-2?
Yeah.
You suck.
I know. It's awful.
Who did you play in round 2?
I don't know. Person who runs Super Band.
Brandon Gibbs?
Yeah.
It's a bad matchup for you. He draws 1 million cards.
It's bad, man.
Well, here's what's happening. Billy Maynor is playing a life gain deck that features such all-stars as Cathedral Sanctifier, Viscop of Guild Mage, and Rock's Faithmender. Rock's Faithmender actually is a perfectly fine card.
Yeah.
And in combination with those other things, if you build around it, it's not that bad. But his draws have not been very impressive. He's currently being beat down by a Thragtusk, a Drag Mangler, a Vampire token, and 3 Soren emblems.
I see that.
So it's not looking good for him.
We just block Drag Mangler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not block the Thragtusk?
I don't know. I do not know. I think there are a couple of decisions in this game that if Billy had them to do over again, he would do them over. Last turn he made some blocks, not realizing the emblems, and lost his only Tristani.
Ouch.
So we're drawing live here off the top. Nope, we're just gaining... That 5 life is irrelevant. Unless that card is... Unless there's something going on in that card in his hand. Like, he's facing down 1 million damage. There's a wolf, 2 vampires, and a Thragtusk. Nick, I couldn't help but notice as we saw you playing round 1 that you're playing a deck that doesn't have Thragtusk in it. You do realize that's against state law, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be turning yourself into the proper authorities after the tournament?
Yeah. I played 2 decks so far that have Thragtusk.
I hate Thragtusk with a passion.
Yeah.
I think they're fine. It's a fine Magic card.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to waste the chat's time by or viewers' time, I should say, with me whinging about tag test where he had another week.
They didn't gain the life.
Yeah, he forgot to gain his life off of the vampire token. I gotta give Mitch props. He's a man that shows up with his correct tokenage.
Yeah. So
all the emblems, all the tokens, sleeved, ready to go.
You have him at 3, by the way.
Oh, I'm at 3? Well, that's because I forgot to type this 0. Boom. So nailed it.
If Billy doesn't have anything, he's just dead here.
Oh, he's real dead. He's really, really dead because you're just going to kill it with Garrick, and just pile in with 1 billion damage.
Taking 21 damage next turn.
Yeah. Like, are we waiting on Billy to make a decision here?
I would say Esper controls the only top tier mill deck.
Oh, the chat's not asking you a real question about is there a mill deck that can be featured next. The chat is just making fun of Billy for playing a deck that's not in the top 8 deck list from Star City Games.
Ah, I see.
But to be fair, that's how the majority of people who watch Twitch streams enjoy the Twitch streams, is to make fun of it. Yes.
Yeah.
So, to each their own.
I see. It's funny.
I have no problem putting either of those guys on camera. They're both competent players. Billy doesn't actually get to play all that much. A lot of the feature matches I would have normally chosen featured, like, I don't know, I would have put Gibbs on camera, but then he was playing you and you just played. Like, Ian was playing Alec. They both played last round.
Yeah.
Brandon Hart's playing Bant. I refuse to put him on camera.
Yeah, they're expert.
He has to be like undefeated, then they have to put him in there. So is this going to be enough? Do we need to do the math here, guys? Do we have instant speed Day of Judgment?
It's 25 damage right now.
Beacon of Immortality?
What's the card? Is that the card from Gate Crash or Dragon Maidens? Yeah.
What is the card in his hand? Is it just land? Did we just sit there the whole time with him and land in his hand? Oh, that Trostani off the top would have turned things around, man. What are you talking about? It would have crushed everything. Hey, you know what's fun, Nick? Winning free cards.
Is it?
Do you ever participate in our giveaways? I don't think you do.
No,
You're too good for them. But yeah, if you want to win your own play set of our paper scissors cards like we used to start all of our feature matches, just go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/ZachSalesMagic. Look for the giveaway announcement I made these 15 minutes ago. Comment, like, and share the post. It's 3 separate ways to enter. And as long as you like our Facebook page, you are eligible to win. It also shows up in my Twitter feed at ZachSalesMagic. Follow me on Twitter and retweet for your chance to win. We'll do the drawing for this week's entries next Saturday, offline after the FNM. And you have until next FNM starts to get in on that action. Were you aware of the story of how when I first started doing that giveaway, there were over 200 of each one in stock at Troll and Toad, and now they're sold out of 2 of them?
Nice.
I'd like to think that's what my effect I've had on people. We're just going to have to kill time in the studio. What you move over there?
Alright, I'll get over here.
So here's the situation out there. Garrett is in game 3, but like he's playing like the control deck. There's only 15 minutes left on the clock. He didn't want to waste like 3 of them relocating. What's going on?
Put Hexproof on the next round.
Man, I hate Hexproof so bad. Also, Brandon just lost.
Did he really?
Yeah, he lost to Adam Vickers.
Silent Vickers, I think.
Bug control.
Interesting.
Watch out, guys. It's his own deck. I mean,
Is it?
he didn't. Yeah, I don't know if he got a. He didn't get that deck list from Brad Nelson, so he may not want to watch it on stream. That's basically. But yeah. So like I said, Garrett's like playing control deck. There's like 14 minutes left on the clock. He didn't want to spend all that time moving over because it might cost the match. Scotty's playing Aristocrats for Act 2. He was playing against a Bant deck, but he won while I was out there. That's why I took a little bit of time because I wanted to watch him win. Because he's playing a guy I wanted him to beat. And then keep it as a mystery. And then I think everyone else is done, so we're just waiting on Garrett to finish. But everyone, are these people that know you?
I have no idea.
You're a big hit in the stream,
Apparently.
man. You're everyone's favorite 13-year-old.
I'm a 13-year-old.
I don't know. You just said you're done with finals, right?
Yeah.
Are you a sophomore or junior?
I'm a freshman now. I'm gonna be a sophomore.
Oh, you're a sophomore?
I'm going to be, yeah.
I thought you were older than that. Let's give you a lot more credit. So you're not even technically a chem engineering major. Like, you're just pre-chem engineering.
Yeah, I'm going to change my major to something medical related. Calculus and physics and dynamics.
Oh man, that's the difference between a real engineer and everyone else. Did you take 4 semesters of calculus? No, don't want to hear about it. When I was in school, they moved the computer science college into the College of Engineering because one of the alumni donated like $20 million. So they did whatever he said. And I was just like, that's not an engineering degree.
Yeah.
You stop taking math after the first year. Your science is geology. That's not a...
Is that real?
Uh-huh. So,
This chat's funny.
well, that's Jordan talking about the underwater basket weaving as a potential career for you.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. The other individuals, I don't really know who they are. How long ago was I in school? Depends on which school. If we're talking high school, I graduated in 1999.
So 14 years ago.
And college, 4 years later. Zach, you never heard of my name? Alex Hemmedinger?
I like that name.
I'm on board with that name as a name, but no, I'm not. But someone's saying it's only the second time watching the stream live. Well, I apologize that you have to watch me kill time because we literally don't have. We had 24 players tonight. A little bit surprising because this is the first time you can use Dragon's Maze cards, and usually that first time you can use a new set, you see people show up with their saucy brews and whatnot. But for whatever reason, only 24. Of course, the weather is changing. It is like finals week at Marshall.
Yeah.
So we lost a lot of guys to that.
I'd imagine they'd come here.
Yeah, but weather was awful, so we're not losing a lot of people to weather tonight because it's like a crappy thunderstorm earlier tonight.
Yeah, you probably go off?
I was at work the whole day, so
that sucks.
I'm sure it went off at home.
Power went off.
Well,
Like,
we live
yeah.
like I could throw a rocket hit your house, I think.
You gonna do cube drafts anymore?
Only anytime everyone's available.
Okay, well, I'm available pretty much anytime.
Yeah, you'll be part of the Taze Valley distribution list because we have enough guys locally. That's a good thing to remind everybody. So this past Saturday, Nick's talking about, because Nick and I live in the same neighborhood, and he's back in from college. So we drafted my cube this weekend, which is something I literally, cube is my favorite form of Magic. And it's not even close. EDH is fun too, and I like Legacy, but cube is just so much fun. But recently this week, I discovered a website called cubetutor.com. There'll be information about it in our recap post. There's also a post about it on our page. But basically, it's just one guy. I was able to get in kind of on the ground floor of that. There's one guy in the UK who created this pretty awesome website where you can upload your cube, and it gives you like visual spoilers. You can maintain it. You can keep track of like your pimp cards and which versions you have. But more importantly, you can do sample packs and you can do sample drafts. And it has a pretty good AI that accurately picks what you would, and it builds so it knows it keeps track of like cards you pick and cards you pass. So like it knows like if you first pick Uma's always Chita every time, like it never passes it. You know what I mean? Like it figures things out like that. So that's basically all I've been doing is drafting my cube. So if you want to head over to that, there'll be a link. I think you can search for my cube's called Zach Sells Magic. You can search for it. You can I'll put a link here in the just for cubereport.com. It's pretty fun, but yeah, we drafted the heck out of that cube. I made some changes after you guys left. Put in some other cards I've been thinking about. Just made some small changes. Can't really remember exact. Oh, it's Cube Tutor. It's not Cube Report. I'm a dummy. CubeTutor.com. It's cool. My cube is number 31. I don't remember the URL, but it's like I was the 31st person to sign up, so it's like cubetutor.com/draft/31. But go draft my cube. Tell me what you think about it. But yeah, we're going to do a lot more of that. You drafted the first draft. I ended up with the best mono red deck that I've ever played in my cube, which I think is funny because everyone like wrongly assumes that I'm trying to draft the mono red deck every time because I'm very much that guy. Jonathan Wright, the first time I ever drafted with him, exclusively took Goblin Guide even though he wasn't in those colors just because he didn't want me to have it.
Yeah.
And like, he had no idea. He was like 4 seats away from me and had no idea I was drafting mono red. I was drafting mono red. But yeah, it was like the best deck. And I think I went like, I don't know, I played like 5 different people, went like 14-1. I lost the one game where I never played a third land.
Nice.
But in that one you drafted what, like Esper control deck?
Esper Reanimator.
Reanimator. I did see you cast Esper Charm on yourself and then reanimate a Children.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Did you stick around for the second draft or did you take off?
I went home and slept.
In the second draft, I ended up like Esper Control, and it was like it was basically just like an old like a standard deck because it was no, it was Frost Titan and Elishnorn and Wormcoil Engine is my high end, and then just like all the like D-Sphere, Verdict, Wrath, O-Ring, like just all the goodies, all the big hitters.
Oh yeah, you played out like for like an hour or two.
Yeah, our final game, we played a match that probably was like over an hour,
yeah.
but our third game was probably 45 minutes from the time of 1 a.m. till 1:45 in the morning. The game devolved to a point where I couldn't beat him with damage because he had a Batterskull and a Metamorph copying Batterskull. So I was just trying to chump to survive, and then I was going to cast Deep Analysis, which is a draw spell that you can target them. So I was just going to mill him out because they had like 3 cards left.
Yeah.
But then he drew his Loxodon Warhammer, which gets a trample. Blew me out.
2 turns, right?
He got me. Yeah, 2 turns and it was all over.
Chet was asking earlier if we were ever to do cube drafts.
To stream them? Yeah, I would love to do that, and I think that's something that's going to be very easy to do. We could probably do that from my house.
I'm up for that.
Yeah. It's like this weekend's kind of tricky, but we can figure it out too. We also need to figure out if there's like a night of the week when people, because like all you guys are out of school and whatnot, like.
Justin and Stevie are coming back this night. I think they should be back by now.
Yeah, so we can definitely figure that out. I don't claim to have like the best cube in the world or anything, but I don't think anyone really cares. It's just close enough. But I really enjoy that. What are you talking about?
If you get a token if you copy the Batterskull, it's just the Batterskull itself, and the Metamorphosis is attached to the token.
Yeah, copying a Batterskull will work.
Yeah.
It works very well, actually.
Yeah, it does.
And what's interesting about that interaction, too, is that if there ever becomes a situation where you don't want to have 2 Batterskulls, which I can't really think of a situation in which that's a bad board state, but you can bounce the Metamorph with the Batterskull ability and then replay it as, like, whatever the creature is, so that you could potentially, like, bounce it, copy Trastodon, like, make 18 power guys.
He's so good.
Yeah, the big changes I remember making after we queued is I added Rafellos. Do you know Rafellos? 2-cost green 1/1 guy that taps for green equal to the number force you control. I only recently found one of him. I made some other small changes, but...
What about Sphinx the Steelwind?
Might put that guy in there. I hate it.
I
hate it. Well, you make your own cube and put him in there. Just make infinite copies of him, infinite copies of Animate Dead, and...
Ratification on it. I just don't have enough stuff to trade for that.
For what?
For an entire cube.
Oh, it was a slow going. It's not like I put it together briefly. And I'm also like I'm a legendary type one. I really am. And so like I have all the cards to put in it, but like I just wait until like they rotate and they get cheap and then put them in there. Because like my cube's only 360 cards big because like most of the time we don't get to draft it with a full 8 people.
Yeah.
It's usually just like Winston draft, like or 3 people like stack draft or something. So like there's no point in me having like a 720 card monstrosity if like I'm only ever going to see like 100 cards out of it, each time we Winston. So, but I mean like you just I don't know, like you can make it like Scotty has a pauper cube, a peasant cube, commons and uncommons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pauper Q is very popular, which is just commons. He runs uncommons as well. Does someone still think the Metamorph thing doesn't work?
No, they forgot the rules.
Hey Garrett,
Hello, Garrett.
You were the last round, weren't you? I think you were. Ryan Men talking about how Winston Draft is fun and wish people would play it more. One of the very first things we recorded, it was kind of like a proof of concept thing. Like we weren't really doing it to show the actual cube draft, but Ian Nolte came over to my house and we Winston Draft and like recorded the picks and the gameplay. The gameplay was atrocious because I was so like focused on like the production side of it that it was just multiple misplays and like missed rules and stuff. But we did do a Winston Draft, so you can go back and check it out. I think I ended up Winston Draft. I have a very solid strategy for Winston. Do you know what Winston is? It's 100 cards, 3 piles. You look at this one. If you don't want it, you top it off. You look at the next one. You top it off. I'll put a list to Winston Draft on there. But like you're only playing with 100 cards from the you're drafting half of 100 cards, and you're only getting to see like you're not gonna, you can't like draft like a reanimator deck because like if the cards aren't in there, you know.
Round 3.
All right, Magic coming up, but I always like to be green. I take every green card because I just want to be green based and I can splash whatever. So Nick, you're playing against Steve Brown.
Let's play against freaking right, brother.
Do you guys want to play under camera? Neither of you have been on tonight.
Sure.
All right, can you go ahead and grab him?
Yep.
Thank you, bud.
I know this.
Do you know who Steve is? Tall guy, well sculpted beard, cowboy boots.